It is the year 1901. The turn of the century has come and gone. A new sound is heard across our country, and a new sight is seen. It is a strange contrivance, destined to put a nation on wheels and do away with sectionalism. It is the automobile. These early horseless carriages are all handmade. Most of them do not have tops or windshields, and the pneumatic tire is yet to be invented. They're capable of speeds up to 15 miles an hour. They're tricky to operate and break down frequently. The blacksmith shop must learn to repair them. These early cars are expensive, even with wages $1 a day. An automobile such as this one costs several $1,000s. Cars are just beginning to appear on the streets of our city. There are still some boulevards which do not allow them. Fifth Avenue in New York is sacred to the carriage trade. Only carriages with uniformed drivers and footmen are allowed on this boulevard of the upper crust. New York is growing by leaps and bounds. The city reaches almost up to Columbus Circle, where these pictures of a bicycle race are taken. Not far to the north are open fields. Commuter trains, such as this, link Manhattan with its growing suburbs. Although New York is now the largest city in America and the second largest city in the world, life still moves at a leisurely pace. The annual Easter Parade is a gala occasion. On Fifth Avenue, we see the latest fashions for both men and women. The movies are now reaching most of the country in blacktops, which are tents dyed black to keep out the light. Traveling showmen bring motion pictures such as these to all of the larger cities and to many of the smaller communities. No fair or carnival is complete without its motion picture tent. The pictures you are now seeing were some of the most interesting features of the famous Pan American Exposition, a great world fair held in Buffalo, New York in 1901. The greatest film features of the day are reproductions of events of the Spanish-American War. None of them are authentic. They were produced in small studios in New York and Chicago. Let us not brand them as fakes. They were accepted by the public of their day as a true portrayal. Crude as these old films may seem to you, they were the initial step of an industry which has educated and broadened America and made it aware of national and world affairs instead of sectional or provincial things. Among the popular subjects were ones which were supposed to have been taken on the battlefields of Cuba. You're now looking at the Battle of Manila Bay, as photographed at a Pioneer studio in Chicago. These scenes were taken with miniature battleships. The smoke comes from firecrackers, and the lighting is extremely primitive. But in 1901, these pictures were an instantaneous success. Not all movies were fake. Here is one of Niagara Falls in winter, which was extremely popular. Pictures such as this were to make all America familiar with every part of our great country and help to make it one nation. Here is a truly historic film. You see the three grandchildren of King Edward VII of England, Edward, George, and Mary. The two boys are to become kings of England. Veterans of the war with Spain return for this March of Victory up Fifth Avenue in New York. This is Dewey's flagship in dry dock after its return from his victory at Manila Bay. This is Coney Island, Mecca for the pleasure-seeking throngs after the close of the war. It is a poor man's paradise. Most everything costs a nickel, and you can eat, drink, and have fun all day for less than $1. Even free acts on the Midway, which can be enjoyed without the nickel. On September 6, 1901, President McKinley was shot and killed by the crazed anarchist Zogos at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. These pictures show the funeral march for the martyred president. It is in Washington, D.C., and thousands stand along the line of march in the rain to pay their last respect to a great and well-loved man. With the death of William McKinley, a political era of our country passed into oblivion. Theodore Roosevelt becomes the 26th president. He had been shoved upstairs to the vice presidency because he was not as popular with the old guard politicians and with Wall Street as he was with the people. Another great liberal, Justice Holmes of the Supreme Court, is seen in the background. Known as the Great Dissenter, he is to have an influence on his country's history second to none in his generation. McKinley is laid to rest in his hometown of Kenton, Ohio, where the morning throngs were measured by the thousands. So now, in 1901, our country has a new leader, Theodore Roosevelt, a dynamic and forceful man who is to change the history of our country by his departure from the conservative thinking of the stand-pat Republicans of his day. Born in the East, loving the West, he was a truly national president. Conservation of natural resources, a strong and efficient Navy, and a policy of authority in world affairs were to mark his administration. Our country was destined to reach new heights of greatness under his leadership.